Girl, can we just keep it real? Like, if I see one more video or one more blog post or any other person out here in these internet streets telling grown ass women to babysit for cash, I'm going to pull my hair out. I'm going to literally pull my hair out. I'm going to scream. Okay. I know you've seen it. I know you know what I'm talking about, that you've either watched, seen a blog or read a blog rather, or you've watched a video or one of these internet gurus out here who's telling you, or just some random person who's telling grown ass women that they can make money, and they're recommending things like walking a dog or donating plasma or playing video games like we're children. What are we, 5 years old? Or taking surveys. Girl, we ain't doing that over here. Ain't nobody that got any kind of common sense going to do that, okay? We have bills to take care of. We got mortgages to pay, car notes, rent. We might be putting our kids through college. We may have grandchildren, right? Especially those of us who are over 40 years old, 40, 50, 60 years old. We need real money, right? You might be looking for something to supplement your income, or maybe you're looking to get into non-traditional work because you're trying to leave corporate America. You ain't getting ready to walk no dog and cut nobody's grass and donate plasma and all of these nonsensical, ridiculous things that they are telling you to do. It's craziness. So I am here to save you, girl. If you are feeling that right now and you are in pain because you're like, damn it, does anybody know what I'm going through right now? And does anybody out here have real advice for real women, grown women like me, to tell me what I need to do and where it is I can go? Do they have any ideas of how I can make money other than what I'm doing right now? This video is for you, okay? I got you, sis. I got you. I do. You need to make money. You need to make an income that makes sense, okay? And if you want to know what the 27 real ways that there is out there for you to make income, especially if you are a woman over 40 and money is tight and you want to supplement your income, or like I said, work a non-traditional way, work a non-traditional job or find non-traditional alternative ways to make money outside of your 9 to 5, this is going to be it. Okay. Now I have a full disclaimer. First, I want to preface this conversation to say that I truly do care about you. And let me tell you why, okay, that I'm saying this, because I just literally sat here for an hour and some change, okay, recording this very video just for you, just to find out at the very end I had myself on mute. Yep, I did. Okay. I could have just called it quits and called it a day and went on about my business, but I'm committed to not only my transformation, but yours. I know that if you're watching this video, you really need it. You need this information. And I know this is going to be a valuable video for you. So please do make sure you stay until the end, okay? I'm going to do my best. I'm going to truly make my best effort to keep this to a minimum because I don't want to do another hour. And while I'm thinking about it, let me make sure I'm not on mute, okay? Because that was painful to find out after an entire hour. I could see if it was 10 or 15 minutes. Sure, I could redo that, no problem. But a whole full hour, okay. I digress. I just needed you to know how much I care, okay? Because I'm doing this video again, immediately after I just did the last video. Now, the next thing I wanted to say is I'm making a full disclaimer, and that is I'm not here to help you find another job or to stay in your current job, okay? That's not my ministry, okay? I actually am here to teach you how to transition out of a traditional 9 to 5. In fact, the full corporate world, right? Everything that corporate comes with, that is what I do as a holistic business coach and RN health and wellness educator. I am here to get you out of corporate America and into a sustainable business. So I'm teaching you how to build an aligned and profitable online brand and business without sacrificing your soul and sanity or compromising your health and happiness, right? So I want to make sure that while you are building a sustainable business, you will need income while you're doing it, right? Most new entrepreneurs are starting off on a shoestring budget. They're funding their own dream. They're using their employer as their private investor or as their silent investor, right? They don't have access to capital. See, I've been talking a long time. Capital. And so you're going to need ways to make money while you're building your side business, right? We don't want to end up homeless or sleeping on somebody's couch at this big old age, but we also want to do things that bring us, that we want to do something that's going to be easy and effortless, and that is going to, we want to embrace ease at this big old age. You know what I'm saying? Can you feel me? Because I feel you. You know what I mean? So the one thing we ain't going to do is a job that is fit for a teen or a tween, not a grown ass woman. Okay. So I just needed to say that we have food we got to put in the fridge, and that we got to keep on our tables, right? We got gas we got to put in our cars. We got a household we need to maintain, a whole livelihood. So it is absolutely not okay and not realistic for us to listen to videos that are putting those kinds of recommendations out there. So I want to set this up by also saying to you this video is going to be really needed, okay? Most of the online tips that are out there are just not realistic for us. And we, don't you wish people would just operate with more integrity? You know, it's so clickbaity, or maybe that's all they really know, because there are a lot of people who are out there just hustling. And I know there's gig work, like, the whole gig economy is really big, but they don't tell you things like, I know door dashing used to be a thing and still is. I know a lot of people are being laid off, and you got to take what you can take, right? Door dashing, Uber Eats, Lyft, Uber driving people around. Those are still things that you can do, but it is a hustle because you are having to work long hours and put a lot of mileage on your car doing those things for a very little bit of money. And it doesn't matter if it's raining or if it's really hot outside and humid. If you need to make money, most of that money that you make is going to be gas you put back in the car, and it may pay a bill or two, but it's not going to maintain your livelihood, right? We need something more sustainable. And that's the point I want to drive home here. We also I want to emphasize the desire for dignity and freedom and flexibility, and real income is going to help us do that as well. We want to make real income while we have the freedom, flexibility, and the true fulfillment, right? This also, I want you to know, is not going to be like an overnight success thing, right? This is not overnight riches I'm going to give you, which I hate when people say that. Oh, you can make $1 million in 30 days. Do this. Really, Chad? Come on. Stop it. You know what I mean? Anyways, we need real sustainable ways to earn money. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. So I'm going to break this up into 3 categories to keep it really organized for you. I hope I've given you enough time to go get something to write with, okay? Take it, have your phone with you and put it in your notes. Watch this the first time and then run it back and then write it down at that time. But make sure you are picking up what I'm putting down, okay? I'm going to give you the real deal, Holyfield, okay? Seriously. And so here's the list of ideas I have for you. And starting from the top, I want to start with the first category of skill-based services. This means you're going to use what you know and you're going to teach what you know, okay? So number 1 is a virtual assistant. Virtual assistants is somebody who is, virtually assisting someone who needs help, usually business owners, small business owners like me. Let me just tell you this. I've not done, now some of these things I'm going to share with you today, I've done myself, or I know somebody who has done it, or I've helped others do it, as people who have been my clients, okay, who have come to me trying to figure out what they can do in the online space. So I have hired a virtual assistant. I've hired a few virtual assistants, but my first virtual assistant, as well as my other ones that followed, were godsends to me. Let me tell you, they know how to do so much. Now, if you have a special skill set, right? Or if you know, you know how to do, social media management, or you can teach yourself how to do that. Or maybe you've been an admin in some way. You've been a secretary or a receptionist, or maybe you are an admin or a personal assistant to a VP, or somebody who was in leadership in the corporate arena at your 9 to 5, what you're doing now or what you've done in the past. you would be great at doing virtual assistant work. Okay. So you can get paid really well for this. And this is a real income you can make. It's also a real sustainable business. Now, I want to say this because I want to tell you the truth and the whole truth and nothing but, okay? So help me. I want to make sure I'm mentioning things that others don't necessarily mention. They just say, oh, you can do this and you can make great money. While that's true, let me tell you something that is even more true. If you are going to be a virtual assistant, also known AKA as a VA, that means, now this, hear me when I say this, this doesn't mean you should not go after or working for new business owners, because I once upon a time was a new business owner. I've been running my own online coaching and consulting business for the last 9 years. But when I started, and when most of us start, we're not profitable yet, right? We're just getting started. We don't have the money yet. We are still working for ourselves. We are still, I'm kind of paranoid about the muted thing because so I keep looking back. But, you know, we don't have the money necessarily, right? We don't have access to capital. We're budgeting. We're working, you know, using our money from our jobs to build our businesses, right? We're funding our dream businesses in that way. We don't know anything about business funding, and we don't have the money to give, a lot of money anyways, to pay a VA. Now, I paid my VA, my very first VA, out of my paycheck. Okay. I paid her before I was even paying myself. My business was not yet making money. But so you can absolutely work for a new business owners. But what I'm also saying is mix it up. Make sure you're also going for those seasoned entrepreneurs who already have cash flowing, who's going to be able to pay you, even if they're not fully, you know, like a fully profitable business, but they're generating income, they're generating revenue, and they have enough to budget for an assistant like yourself. They will be able to pay you while their business continues to grow. You feel what I'm saying? So say your heart is for those newbie entrepreneurs and you're like, oh, but I really want to help them. Great. You should. Okay. I was able to pay my VA. She was none the wiser. I paid her for a while before I actually fully transitioned. Right. But also work with people who have the money, and you're not going to be concerned that they one day will come to you and say, I really want to keep your services, but I can't pay you. Okay. I won't harp on that too much, but again, I'm going to give you the real. Okay. Now, online course creator. We're on number 2. Online course creator. Teach what you know. If you know a specific skill that you're really, really great at, right? Then this is something that you can do to package yourself up as a online course creator. So I created courses when I first started, right? And you can do all kinds of courses depending on what your specialty area is. For me, it was about teaching women how to make a smooth transition, right? So a course is the same as you would do as like similar to like a master class or a workshop, although we're going to get to that because that is a little bit different. But a course is something that somebody can take. It's a self-paced course that they have access to on demand, right? So they pay for the course for you to teach them a particular thing that you are really great at, and you put it all in a course. So if you know how to create digital products, right? And you want to help people create digital assets or a digital business or an online business, or maybe you know how to teach them or can teach them how to cook a certain thing that you know how to cook, or maybe you're going to teach them how to pass an exam or something, or whatever the course is. Or whatever the skill set is that you have, put it in a course and teach them that. It might be a course on YouTube. Maybe you're somebody who's really great at YouTube, right? I purchased somebody's course who teaches YouTube, right? For 40-plus-year-olds to learn how to monetize on this platform with AdSense. So, whatever that skill set is that you have, put it in a course, put all of your teachings into that, and you only have to create it once. You can revise it as you need to or add to it as you need to, but you sell that thing until the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? And you just continue to promote it. You can promote it by leveraging digital platforms like YouTube and other social media platforms, right? And anytime you go out in the world and promote your services, then this would be great. Number 3 is freelance writing and or editing. Listen, I love writing. I have done freelance writing. I am great at writing. It is my strong suit. Okay. I've written all kinds of things. Maybe you're someone who's in the medical field and you've written medical journals or articles, or maybe you've written about law, or maybe you have written about relationships, or maybe you've done blogs and that sort of thing. Whatever kind of freelance writing you've done, this is a great way to package yourself up as a 1099 employee, for a lack of a better term. But basically, you're not working as a W-2, meaning you don't have an employer looking over you. You have that freedom and flexibility to shop your services around, and you can go on to platforms like Fiverr and Upwork, for example, right? You can even be on LinkedIn, other places where you need to network and shop your services around, letting people know that this is what you're doing, right? And you want to demonstrate that by having some samples of your work so people can know what you're working with, right? But this is project work that you can do. This is ongoing work that you can do. And again, these are things that you can do that are non-traditional to a W-2 job, right? But you can also do this while you're working your 9 to 5, right? We're transitioning and we want to make sure we're making money first. This is a great way, by the way, to test the waters, to tap your toe in that thing first, right? And see if entrepreneurship is really for you, because it ain't for everybody, right? Some people need the structure and the rules and the regs that comes with corporate, right? They need the job description and as other duties as assigned, right? So, if that's you, or maybe you don't know it's you and you want to see if entrepreneurship is for you, this is a great way to do it. But it's also a great way to supplement your income, okay? Number 4. Health and wellness coaching. I work with somebody, in fact, one of my highest paying clients way back when, I think around 2019, when I went into high ticket. Like, I already started off at high ticket, but I went into a higher ticket package and program. One of the first people I worked with was a personal trainer and a health and wellness coach. She was certified and she still worked her corporate job, but she wanted to be able to transition fully into doing this in the online space. Well, hey, that's my specialty area. So of course I helped her package herself up in this way. And she was able to start making really great income doing this, to the extent that she was able to leave her job because she was able to replace her income. So if you are someone who is a personal trainer or health and wellness coach, you just carve out your own space, right? What is your niche? You might have a specialty doing, vegan milk cooking, right? Maybe you are vegetarian, or maybe you are great at cooking seafood, or maybe you're great at baking something, or teaching people, I should say, rather not baking, but I meant to say nutrition, right? So maybe you can teach them how to eat certain foods and when they should eat it and why nutrition matters, and kind of give them a breakdown of, what portion control looks like and how they can graze throughout the day to refuel their energy, or maybe how they can even eat some of their favorite foods and not deprive themselves of whatever it is they love and still lose the weight. Like, whatever it is for you that you specialize in, and you can do this online and teach somebody how to do what you did, right? Use yourself as a case study, or somebody you've worked with but maybe not gotten paid by, but you've taught them and they actually got real results. Go ahead and package yourself up as a health and wellness coach or personal trainer or whatever you are. And you can see lots of examples online right here on YouTube just to get an idea, right? But you got to do your due diligence. So start doing your homework on this. Resume writing or being a LinkedIn consultant. I cannot tell you how many resumes I have written over time. I didn't get paid for it. I just did it as a free service really for people. I hadn't even considered at the time to get paid. It was just something I was really great at. And so I just did it for friends and family. And I had so many versions for myself for different jobs. And I knew, because I have an HR background, I knew, and I'm trained and certified in that way. So I knew exactly what recruiters were looking for. I knew what HR was looking for, right? I knew what they were looking for as far as keywords. So I knew how to pack that resume with those keywords. I knew how it needed to be formatted and structured in such a way that it would pull out the highlights that the recruiters would be looking for. So if you're somebody who knows that and you're really great at it, maybe you work in HR right now, maybe you are a recruiter right now, this is something you can make great money at doing. Or you can just be like a LinkedIn consultant. I see this on LinkedIn all the time, where you would have an opportunity to work with people and tell them what they can do for themselves. So you could do it with them, or you could do it for them, or you could do both and have it mixed and match, right? You can even sell templates as well. That can be like something else that you give as a downloadable, and then get them on your email list, and then create a different package, a higher package, more expensive package that they can invest with you in later, maybe some coaching and consulting, right? Specifically to what their needs are, and meet them where they are. Just some ideas for you. So that's number, where were we at? Number 5. Okay, number 6 is bookkeeping. Can I tell you, I needed a bookkeeper in this business when I first started, and I did all the bookkeeping myself. Why? Because I was the DIY queen. Nope, we're not paying nobody for that. We'll just do it ourselves. Well, even when you can do something yourself, even if it's in your wheelhouse in a part of your zone of genius, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have the time or the capacity, or that you should, because it isn't the best use of your time. Probably not, right? So I've had to learn the hard way to just hand that over to somebody else, delegate and outsource those things. I had a bookkeeper in my first business, which was again an e-commerce business. I loved my bookkeeper. She was the best. She taught us what to do, but she also would be like, okay, just send me what you got and I'll do it, right? But here's how you do this, 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 and that, so that you understand that when I'm asking for whatever I'm needing, then in the meantime and in between time, exactly what you need to do for yourself in case I'm not readily available when you need me. So it was great for that reason, right? To learn, but she did all the heavy lifting. And same is true now, right? I actually have someone who right now is able to do that for me, right? I have a CPA who does my books. Now I do the day-to-day kind of stuff. So on a weekly basis, I do my finances, but don't you know, girlfriend, if you are a bookkeeper, we need you as small business owners. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Number 7, tutoring, academics, right? Oh my gosh, any kind of life skills that you can teach. Now, I know you've probably heard of what is it, like where you can tutor online and teach people of Asian cultures, right? People who are like Chinese people, for example, Koreans, how to learn English as a second language. I'm going to give you a little bit of a bonus within this one too as well. Okay, so here's the thing. You can do tutoring services and you can do translation services. You take your pick, or you could do both. Now, tutoring, learning, people who's teaching tutoring as a second language, although it is still a thing, just like DoorDash and Uber Eats and Lyft and Uber and all that kind of stuff used to be less saturated. It's more saturated now. The more people have gotten laid off, or the more people have looked into gig work as opposed to, as an alternative to the traditional path, or what have you, right? So there's now a wait list, so to speak, actually a real wait list for those individuals who want to get in that kind of work. Same is true for tutoring, or tutoring people who want to learn a second language. Doesn't mean it's so saturated you can't get into it. It just means you may have to wait. And who's got time to wait when we need to be making money now? So what I'm saying to you is, think outside of the box a little bit. Can you speak more than one language? Do you know Spanish fluently? Do you know a different dialect of Spanish that maybe not everybody's teaching? Do you know Tagalog or Portuguese, or do you know Korean, right? Do you know another language that you can teach that people need to know for the purposes of their job, or for some other aspect of their lives, or maybe they want to learn it for traveling purposes, or whatever the case might be? You can do tutoring in that regard. You can do tutoring as well for like what I did when I did tutoring. I taught kids who were in middle school, kids who were in high school, and I taught other nurses who were preparing for taking the NCLEX RN and NCLEX LVN exams. Okay, so once I learned how to master studying for that and getting myself to pass, then I help them do the same thing, right? So this is something that you can also do. Or if you're a lawyer and you want to teach somebody how to pass the bar, or if you're a real estate agent or broker and you want to teach somebody how to study properly for the real estate exam, like my son who just passed. Congratulations to my son. Did a phenomenal job. And so, but he could have used somebody like that to teach him how to, properly study, and what to look for, how to actually pass, and what the test is going to be like, and decrease some of that anxiety, right? So any kind of life skills or tutoring that you can teach somebody, do that. Number 8 is speaking and workshop hosting. Okay. Speaking and workshop hosting. You can shop around, or so there's several ways you can go about this. Now, workshop is when you're really hands-on, right? It can be virtual or in person, or you can do a mix of both. If you like the in-person events, I say do that. But online is also very convenient, where you can hop online with people, a group of individuals, like on a Zoom call, for example, right? And everybody's actually doing the work in real time, right? And getting your feedback in real time, getting your help, and interacting with you, and you're answering their questions in real time, okay? A master class, a workshop, anything like that along the lines of like a webinar, okay? It's all the same. Then you can also do speaking engagements, right? So you can do speaking engagements. So you don't have to work for in corporate America, by the way, to do this, right? You can actually get contracts through corporate, right? Through corporations within the realms of corporate, if that makes sense, with different companies, organizations who need you to speak on whatever specialty topics you speak on, right? Be it health and wellness, or wealth, or finances, or whatever, right? They're going to need you. And the good news is, unlike direct to consumer, who it takes more effort, although it's a shorter sales cycle, it still takes more effort to promote your services to people and get them to buy and invest, because you got to get them to know, like, and trust you first. It's a different process and a longer sales cycle, but a different process when you're doing it with corporate. But the good news is that they have the budget. Okay, so you can easily get paid 15, 20, 25, 30 grand or more doing the same kinds of things for corporate, for a corporation in, any area really that you specialize in, any industry, you pick it, you name it, right? So, you just need to pitch yourself appropriately, and let them know, showcase that you know exactly what you're talking about, have a conversation, back and forth dialogue until they actually bring you on. Okay. Money is going to be a non-issue. They're going to pay you what you demand. Okay. Because they need you and they have it. I'm telling you. Okay. So the next thing I want to share with you is tech setup. Okay. A tech setup consultant. That's going to be number 9. Now, I have somebody who I actually hired. They used to be a tech at, I want to say there was Best Buy, I believe. And then they ventured out on their own. They were really, really good. I still have Best Buy as a backup, and I have a couple of other tech people now that is on my team that I can outsource work to in case one is not available and the other is, right? Or one is more specialized in something, whereas the other one may not be. But if you are somebody who is tech savvy, right? Especially for older adults who are in business, or older adults or business owners, right? Either or, you can go help those individuals who don't got the time. Because let me tell you something, I can call on my tech guy anytime. Thank God. Okay. Because who doesn't need a good mobile tech guy to come over and, just at your mercy, you're like, because you're at the mercy of others. Like if you go take your thing into, say, someplace like a Best Buy, you might not get your computer back or your device back right away, because they've got a lot of other people, right? But if you've got somebody that can specialize in this, and they are always pretty much accessible, and you can be that person who's pretty much accessible to individuals or to business owners between this time and this time, even if you work a traditional 9 to 5, we need you, right? Because we are always running up against tech stuff. And listen, I can figure out a thing or two, but I don't want to take the time. And when you're brand new in business, by the way, you ain't got that kind of time, okay? You are somebody who, you're starved for time. You don't have a team yet. You may or may not have a VA yet. And you are wearing all the hats and doing all the things. And so you don't have the patience or the time or the capacity or the bandwidth or the energy or any of that, especially if you're working a 9 to 5 while building your business on the side. You need somebody who knows their stuff and that can just do what you need them to do, especially too when it comes to putting together things like funnels, right? Anything tech savvy that you need, let them do it, right? Now, before we go any further and into the next segment, if you're getting what I'm giving and you love these gems I'm dropping, go ahead and leave a comment below so we can get this discussion popping. I would love to continue this conversation with you below. And I want you to go ahead and leave me a comment right now and let me know what's been like that aha moment for you, right? What's pulling on those heartstrings, or what's resonating with you up here? Are you getting any really great ideas right now? My computer was trying to restart. Are you getting any really great ideas right now? As far as, what I've shared with you so far, have these even been things you've thought about? And by the way, if you are getting value from this video, please do subscribe right now. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode whenever I drop new content and or go live. Okay, now let's get back to business. I told you I'm doing this in 3 categories. So we're on the next category, which is flexible online work. Okay, flexible remote online work. Okay, number 10 is what we're on right now. Customer service from home. Listen, if you are somebody who has great customer service etiquette and you're like, gone are the days where customer service is as good as it used to be. There's no quality customer service, and I am passionate about it. I'm great at it. I wish I can train other people to do it. I'm that way. Like, I feel like my mother has always been super passionate about customer service. She loves it, right? But if you are that person, you would be great for a business like mine or for other businesses, small companies, large companies, right? But you're actually not doing this where you're working for them necessarily, unless you want to, right? So they do have W-2 remote positions, but you also can do this on your own and make money, okay? As a 1099 independent contractor. So that's an idea for you. Number 11 is online community manager. What do I mean by that? There are lots of large groups that cannot moderate their groups, right? On Facebook, on LinkedIn, it's just massive, right? And they are the owner or the co-creator and owner of the group. They're out there doing their thing, right? They don't have time to post all the time, to schedule the post, to create the post, to manage the comments, to engage with the people, right? And to moderate it and make sure people aren't spamming in there and all of that. I know somebody right now who's also a business owner on YouTube, and she's got a massive community that's grown very quickly. And she's so busy consulting and coaching and teaching people how to succeed on YouTube. She could use a moderator. And I think she finally got one. At some point, when you get to be so large in your community, you need somebody who can actually manage that for you, moderators, right? So you can pitch yourself to groups who might need an online community manager. And on the same vein as that, we're on number 12 now, is social media manager for small businesses. Again, I had a VA, my first VA rather. I've had several VAs that, I've hired over the years, but my main lead VA, she just knew a lot. She knew how to do it all, or she would figure it out. She managed my community. She did my funnels. She knew all the tech stuff. She knew lead generation. She did all the things, email management, all of that. And she also did my social media management. She learned my brand voice. She knew how to repurpose my content. She did all of that and then some. But she was so helpful because, when we are in the online space, we are creating content to bring about brand awareness, right? And establish credibility and authority in our space and all of that, and to dominate our space. When we are focused on that as the CEO and the visionary in the face of our brand, even though we know we need to be creating content, it's the last thing we have time for. But a social media manager can make you look omnipresent by doing that for you, or me as a business owner. So you as a social media manager can do that for somebody like me or another business owner who needs somebody to manage, not be their voice, okay, or take over and try to pretend to be them. I'm not saying that I don't think that's a great idea, but I do think it's a great idea for somebody like yourself who is good at, creating content, helping with the captions, posting, scheduling, and engaging with a few comments with those individuals. And just do that, because that's the heavy lifting and you can get paid well doing it. Ask me how I know, because I paid handsomely for my social media manager, right? Okay. And then the next thing is email marketing or newsletter writing. Okay. Number 13. By the way, this is really, really golden for business owners like me, because we are always launching and we need to do email campaigns as a part of that launch cycle. Okay. Now, I used to launch about 4 times a year. I'm down to like maybe twice a year. And the most of what I do is evergreen, or, working in group settings, right? Or working, I do just a variety of other things. So I don't launch as much because it could be very tiresome. But when I do launch anything new, right, new program, a new service, a new package, a new whatever it is I'm putting out there in the market, I need somebody, even if I'm writing my own emails and stuff, I still need somebody to schedule them, to put it together, to make it make sense in the funnel, right? Who gets what when, to segment the different markets, right? Where did these people come from, to tag them, to integrate different other software, like all the things. I used to do all that myself. I don't have the time to do that now. So if you are somebody who can do newsletters on a regular basis or on a quarterly, monthly, or whatever basis on behalf of the entrepreneur or the business owner, or you can do the email marketing campaigns or both, you would be, you're like going to be the golden ticket for somebody like me, okay? Because we need you. And then number 14 is project management, even program management. If you are great at managing programs or projects like I'm doing right now, I am juggling, right, a few different projects simultaneously. I would always need, I would love to work with a project manager who can kind of help me out in that way, when I have a lot of big projects that I'm trying to knock out, right? And I got to meet a certain deadline. But there are so many business owners out there who can use your services if you're really, really great at project management, organizing, knowing what to do when and what order and how, and who, you have a nice network of people that you work with, right? Or what have you. This would be a good way for you to make money. Okay. Number 15 is remote recruiter, a remote recruiter or job coach. Now, when I first started out, I told you I am HR trained and certified. I have a background in HR. I was not necessarily a recruiter per se, although I did some recruitment for nurses when when I was in that space. However, when I left that space, I still recruited women to leave the corporate arena and to transition into business ownership. And I helped them make that pivot and that transition and build their business, right? I also was considered not a job coach in the sense that I was trying to help them stay in a job, but I was a career transition coach and startup business expert. So those were my specialty areas. Once I learned how to leave or transition or exit the corporate arena and start up my business, I also was able to teach others to do the same. So you could do remote recruitment if you are a recruiter or in HR, or you have a specialty area in that, right? And or you might be a job coach or consultant where you can help people who want to make a lateral transfer, or you want to help them match them to a job that would be more in alignment with their deepest desires, with their passion and their purpose, with their skill set, whatever they feel like is a better fit for them, so that they too can find fulfillment. So this is something else you can do and get paid really well. Okay. Number 16 is copywriting and copywriting for blogs and websites. Now, I hired somebody years ago for my first business in e-commerce to do that for me because they were just really great at it. And there is a lot of psychology that goes behind sales copywriting. But I have always been a strong writer. I love it. It's always been therapeutic for me. I've always written my own blogs. I've written the sales copy on my websites, right? I've done my own sales pages, my landing pages. If you go to any of them, I've done all of those. I've written my best-selling book. I am a writer, okay? So I don't really hire anybody to do any of that for me. All of the messaging and my ad copy, all of the messaging that you see here on my communities and in social media, that's all me, okay? But if you are somebody just like me who loves copywriting for blogs and websites and sales pages and all the things, and you are great at it, this would be for you, okay? Number 17 is transcription services, and you can do this a number of ways. I'm going to give you 2 examples. The first one is like a doctor's offices or a dental office, okay? But doctors I'm more familiar with. I know that they always use transcription services because they're always dictating. They're in between patients. They're dictating in the hospitals. They're dictating in the medical clinics, right? And so whatever facilities they're in, they always got to dictate. So you can take that medical jargon and translate that into, put it in the patient's medical records by transcribing what they dictated. Okay, that's one way. The other way is you can work for a company like, say, rev.com, which I've used for years. Rev.com is a transcription service. They have AI generated transcription, but they don't get that 100% right all the time, right? So sometimes it takes a human touch to do that. So if you are somebody who would like to work for a place like rev.com or simply just create your own transcription service, you can do that as well and get paid handsomely for it, okay? Or a decent amount for sure. And then number 18 is what we're on now, and that's going to be content repurposing for busy entrepreneurs. Why is that important? Because again, we want to look omnipresent. And while we're the face of the brand, we are also the CEO and visionary of the brand. We don't got time to do all of the time consuming, tedious tasks and busy works that keeps us bogged down and eventually burns us out. Social media and content repurposing can be a lot. So what you can do is you can help somebody, and this is what we do. So it's kind of like a syndication method or repurposing, where we take one video that I've created on YouTube, and that's the starting place. From there, we then create multiple different content to repurpose: emails, blogs, articles for LinkedIn, for example. If you have a blog, you may not necessarily be blogging, right? Or the person that you're working with, but reels, TikTok, shorts, you name it. Even, what do you call those, carousels, on Instagram. You can do so much and get so much content out of one video. If you are really great at being, thinking outside of the box on how to repurpose all of these different contents for individuals like me, business owners like me, again, golden ticket. Okay, you are a winner in our eyes. Please come help us. We need that, right? So you can definitely showcase your talent in that way. And mix and match it any way that you see suited. You can help create captions. You can mix up the captions. Like, it's just so many ways to do it. So I just named a few. Okay, now next we're going to go into service-based side businesses. Now you can do this locally or online. I would highly recommend doing it online, because this is what I teach. I teach women like you how to build an aligned and profitable online service-based business. Now, if you want to work with people who have products and or services, your prerogative, right? You're free to do what you want, right? I am just telling you what I teach, and I'm going to teach you how to do service-based businesses in the online space, since that's what I am good at, okay? And I've been doing it for 9 years now. So the first thing you can do, this is number 19, is errand services. You can be an errand runner or personal concierge. Girl, do you know how many people need business owners? Let me tell you this, will do anything to buy back their time. So if there are business owners who need you to do things that are personal things, like pick up their kids from school, buy their wife a gift, or their business partner or something, right? Or maybe they need some stuff taken to the cleaners, their clothing taken to the cleaners. Maybe it's all business related things, right? It's not necessarily personal. Maybe it's all business related, or maybe it's a mix of both. But maybe they need some things notarized, or maybe they need you to run to the bank and take care of some things for them, make a deposit, what have you. Whatever kind of errand these individuals or business owners need, you can be that person, again, personal concierge or errand runner, to do all of that for them, so they can do what they need to do and have the time to do it, right? Number 20 is house organizer. If you are somebody who is great at organizing a home, decluttering, de-junking, because people will just keep all kinds of crap that's just taking up space. Some people are just not good at that, or they're too busy, or they're hoarding things, or what have you. If you are somebody who knows how to, you can just see a small space and understand how to make all of this junk go away, or create it, put it in a nice organized fashion, in a corner, or how to build out shelves, or I don't know, you're really creative at just organizing things, right? You can just see, you have the vision for it, just like interior decorators, right? They have the vision for it and they can just bring it together. If you're great at that, People will pay you well for this kind of work. Okay. Do that. Number 21 is meal prep services. Now, I have a dream one day that I'm going to have a meal prep chef. Okay. I haven't had that experience yet on my own. I have not been able to bring a chef in for meal prepping on a regular basis, but I would love that. But what I have done instead is I have paid for meal prep services, right? They literally package up everything, put it on ice, box it up nice neatly, ship it out, and timely deliveries right to my doorstep. And I have meals for the week, right? So if you are somebody who specializes in a certain thing of meal prepping, maybe you love, like I said, veganism or barbecue or just a better way of making a specialty food, soul food, Mexican food, Puerto Rican food, or whatever kind of food you are into. Maybe you do gourmet dishes, whatever it is. This is something that you can package up for people, and you'll have to figure out, of course, what that entails and what's required of you to actually make this happen. But I'm just giving you the idea that this is something you can do, right? Obviously, you have to have good health hygiene. You got to be, you have to have the right permits and licenses and all of that to do this out of your house. You've got to be zoned appropriately and all that jazz. But that's for you to research. I'm just giving you the idea that if this is something you've not even considered and you're great at cooking and you want to package up things and people always rave about your cooking, package that up and service people and do a meal prep service. You know what I mean? And get paid well for that. Number 22 is sewing and alterations. Girl, I won't say I can't sew to save my life. I can, but I'm not the domestic type of chick. Like I like, I do stuff around the house. I clean, I cook, I do all of that. Sewing is just not my thing. Okay. So believe it or not, but you might be somebody who's great at customizations and alterations and sewing, right? And that's something you love to do. Maybe you're even good at custom gift giving or gift making, and you can package up a pretty basket full of gifts and box that up for people because you just got a creative mind. You can put yourself, if you are doing that, you can put yourself out there on platforms like Etsy and Pinterest and things of that kind of platform, right? And you can also let people know what you're doing so that you can, even business owners like me, listen, when I work with my high-end clients, right, they pay me, they invest a lot of money. So I want to roll out the red carpet and do a white glove service for them. And so one of the things I do is find out what their favorite things are. And I put all their favorite things, a handful of their favorite things, in a gift basket. And that's what they get from me. But if I could have somebody to help me create other ideas, that would just be amazing, right? So there are other people out there, not necessarily just business owners, individuals, right? Bigger companies. Just get out there and figure out who needs your service. And if you're really good at this, put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Also, number 23 is what we're on right now. Okay, we're almost there. Mobile notary. Now, I told you my son just passed the real estate exam. Kudos to him. But kudos to his girlfriend, and they've been together for a few years now, who just passed. She got her notary, her mobile notary. I don't know if it's a certification or what exactly, but I know people. Now, she's just getting started in her business, but it's a great business to go into. I personally know people who are making six figures doing this work. And if you carve out or niche down and do this for, doctors or, doctors' offices or hospitals, like the healthcare industry, that's always a lot of paperwork involved, or real estate where there's a lot of paperwork involved and there's a lot of notary that needs to be done, right? And not a lot of notary. We always need somebody to notarize the documents. We always need somebody to notarize the documents in lots of different areas. But these are just a couple of areas I know that you can specialize in and get paid really, really well. And I called a notary not long ago myself because I don't remember what the inconvenience was, but I couldn't go to my bank. I think the guy that normally does my notary at my local branch wasn't in, and not all the branches do notaries, and not always a notary's on site. And you can go to a UPS store and all that, but sometimes they don't specialize in certain documents. So I called someone who was a mobile notary. And when she told me her price, I was like, geez, okay, that's a big jump from what I would pay. I don't even pay for it at the bank, right? And then it's only like, I don't know, about $15 a page for like a UPS store or postal annex or something like that. But as a mobile notary, you can charge a pretty good penny, okay? Some coins for that to go out to the person's house to do something that they need that's in their private home, or you can meet them somewhere, out at a cafe or local barista or what have you, wherever it is that you might want to be, a library or something where it might be quiet, right? And you do all the notary for them for these documents that they need in a timely manner, and maybe other places like UPS store don't offer. So this is something you can do as well, okay? The next thing on the list is number 24, Airbnb or room rentals, okay? Now, I know somebody who actually has done an accessory dwelling unit, ADUs, okay, which she has a casita in her backyard, and there's a different, you don't have to come through her home to her one side of her backyard to get to this unit. It's like just a little tiny home, and it's spacious enough for somebody who's traveling. She's doing this, leasing this out or renting it out as a short-term rental for professionals who travel, and nurses in particular, something that my son and I are looking into, especially now that he is, has passed his exam, and this is something we're going to get into. So this is something that definitely you should look into, because you can, if you have some piece of like a casita or ADU on your land, or you could build that, or know somebody who can build that for you, or if you have a garage that you can convert into a room, or if you have that, people don't have to come through your house, they can go through a separate area, into the garage that you created into a room, or maybe you have a separate part of your home where there's access to another room in your home. You can rent this out or do Airbnb. All of this is short-term rentals, right? And you can do this and make a good income, good living off of this, right? Because they're paying part of the rent or part of your mortgage. So number 25 is home-based catering or baking, right? So if you're great at cooking, going back to that, but specifically great at baking, maybe you make gourmet cookies or cupcakes, or maybe you make a vegan version of this, or maybe you do gluten-free baking or what have you, or whatever your specialty area is. Maybe you're good at, you have a very creative mind, and you put these special ingredients that nobody's heard of to create these very special baked goods. Girl, sell it, right? If you have a special frosting or topping or ingredients that makes it extra moist or whatever, right? And people rave about it, go ahead and start your own home-based catering or baking business. And catering can be any kinds of meal, right? I think I mentioned barbecue earlier. I mentioned vegan food. I mentioned seafood, whatever it might be. Go ahead. If you specialize in that, like me, I love to cook. I can see myself doing a meal prep service, or maybe not baking. I'm not big on baking that much, but catering for sure, because I love all the hospitable stuff, right? So if you have come from the hospitality arena, or maybe you're doing that now, or you've always wanted to do something like this would be a great opportunity for you, right? You don't have to, go lease out or buy like a food truck or anything like that. You can just do it right from the comfort of your own home, okay? Now, number 26 is companion care for seniors. Listen, I'm talking non-medical. You don't have to be a nurse like me. You don't need any medical background. I would say for sure, always make sure you have like your BLS or your basic life support system, no CPR in the event that there's an emergency, of course. And, I always think that's, first of all, it's going to help you be more marketable. But, even when you call 911, they may not be able to get to you quickly enough, and you can literally save somebody's life. So that's always a good skill set to have, right? But you can actually be a companion for somebody, just to talk to them, right? Seniors need people to talk to. They love sharing stories. They love offering words of wisdom. They also may need a little bit of help around the house. Maybe they can't lift the same. Maybe they need you to just take them to their medical appointments. Maybe they need you to take them grocery shopping, or to bring in groceries and put it up for them, right? To help them cook a meal or whatever. Like, these are just things. Maybe they want to just have you go down with them to their nail appointment or their hair appointment, or to do some recreation, play bingo with their friends, right? So it's just you being a companion and doing things for them and being that individual that, they don't have right now. Maybe their family lives a long distance away, or maybe they don't have any close family members or friends. And so you can always go, to like these areas where they need companions, and you can just offer your services as a 1099 employee or contractor, or you can start your own business doing companion work, right? So, and then number 27, which is the last on the list, but don't go anywhere because I got a couple of other tips I want to give you. Okay, and you don't want to miss this. Um, pop-up pop-up shops and vendor booths, right? So if you are a very craftsy person, or you are just really creative, right? Again, there's Etsy, there's Pinterest, there's pop-up booths you can do. You can just like look for those pop-up, places where they have pop-up vendors, or you can create your own, right? And you can just put your stuff kind of like a trade show. I used to do trade shows when we owned our t-shirt line, which we still own and operate, by the way. But we have our whole line of t-shirts that we're going to eventually expand into a clothing line, full clothing line. So we used to go out and do trade shows, and we used to go out to different events all around the nation. Like, we would look for when they were having the different events for the LGBTQ, or, African American events, or different, like cultural events. And we would just go out there and put our t-shirts out, and we would sell our books that way as well. Like, we would just go around to do pop-up shops and vendor booths, right? Purchase a vendor booth and decorate it nicely, and just be out there talking to people and selling our books and our t-shirts and our stuff, right? So if you have hoodies or sweaters you need knit, or you have crafts that you create, or you're an arts, you paint, or maybe you paint with the oil paints, or any kind of whatever is specialized for you. Maybe you have a book, or maybe you create mugs, or different things that listen, there's a lady, gosh, I can't remember her name right now, a Black lady. She is the only person I've ever known or heard of to be the first Black woman who has made history, and she has she has made over $100 million in her business just by creating custom jewelry. Beautiful, brilliant brain, and beautiful, brilliant custom jewelry, one of a kind. And she has made over $100 million. $100 million. You can't even spend that in a lifetime. Okay. So maybe you don't want to be the next $100 million lady, or maybe you do. But my point is, you can do so much just by getting started. Okay. So that's the other thing. So think of what kind of apparels or crafts or what have you, jewelry that you can create, that you're great at, that you have sitting around the house right now. God, if I could have only gotten my mother in love, God rest her soul, when she was alive and well, she was so amazing at creating crafts out of popsicle sticks and just all kinds of things, and shellacking them, and doing her own wood. And oh my gosh, she had some amazing things, but she just did it as a hobby. She loved it, but I was like, do you know how much money you can make, right? So if you're that person, don't let your dreams go to the grave with you. Go ahead and start thinking about what you can do to make money right now. Okay. Now, I said I have some other announcements for you and a couple of bonus tips. Here's what I want to say next. Listen, if any of these ideas, first of all, spoke to you, what was your aha moment? Which one are you going to do next? What have you done before? What did you not even think of? Let me know in the comments. I would love to continue this discussion in the comments, okay? But also, if you need help, if you want a game plan, and you want to know, how can I get out of survival mode and get into CEO mode? Because if you're watching this video, you're definitely in survival mode, right? Because we want to make sure that we are creating sustainable businesses and being able to replace our income from corporate America, where we're capped at a certain dollar amount, right? We want to make sure we are now able to build sustainable businesses that take us far beyond what corporate could ever. So if you want that for yourself, and you want to know what are the 7 simple steps that I personally took and teach my clients to do the same as they are making the same transition smoothly, seamlessly, right? And replace their high paying jobs, then this you want to download my quick start guide, how to cut the corporate cord. Okay, we're cutting the cord to corporate America, and learn the 7 simple steps for how to do just that. Also, if you are a Black woman who is just ready to get free from corporate America, a job that is toxic, a hostile work environment, or a job that no longer serves you, I want you to reclaim your time and really do things that are you're passionate about, that are fulfilling for you, that is freeing, right? If you want that for yourself, then I invite you to come to the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women. This is the second year we've put on this event. It sold out last year at 300 women. This year we have 15 amazing, dynamic, phenomenal speakers, including yours truly, okay? And we also are expecting 1,000 plus women to attend this event. So if you want to join this event, I am urging you to register today, because we right now have tickets on sale, and those tickets are only on sale through April 15th, okay? Easy date to remember because of the tax deadline, April 15th. Beyond that, ticket prices go up and we will sell out. So get in where you fit in, okay? Get in while you can. Go ahead, and I'm going to leave the link below so you can click that and get the ticket price while it's on discount, okay? Now, I don't want you to miss out on that, but I also want you to let me know what part of this video you really enjoyed, okay? And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now, I'm going to tune out while you tune in. Be sure to share this video out with at least 3 friends, and be sure to watch the next video that YouTube recommends, okay? As always, and until next time, I am wholeheartedly in this journey with you. Bye for now.